In this video, I'm going to show you how to make my famous fall apart Lamb Mandi, a show-stopping dish that I think even kitchen beginners can master because it's deceptively simple. It features a whole lamb shoulder marinated in warm spices and a secret ingredient, then slowly braised for 4 to 5 hours until fall apart tender. We serve it over ultra flavorful basmati rice cooked using the lamb juices along with an herby sahawit. It's garnished with crunchy almonds, raisins, and caramelized onions. You're going to want to save this recipe for your next special occasion. I'm going to walk you through this recipe step by step. So let's get started. Start this recipe the day before you plan to cook it. I usually start the night before and marinate the lamb for 12 hours, but you can also do up to 24 hours. Now to make the marinade, mix all of the warm spices together in a bowl, and my secret ingredient is pureed white onion. So you can simply just take an onion in quarters and puree it in a food processor and add that to the spices along with olive oil. The onion not only tenderizes the meat, but it also adds so much flavor and it removes any gaminess from the lamb if you are someone who's sensitive to the gaminess. Now in this recipe, I'm using a lamb shoulder, but you can also feel free to use a lamb leg. Generally speaking, the shoulder has more fat content and more connective tissue and marbling, so it has a richer, deeper lamb flavor. The lamb leg is leaner and it has a milder lamb flavor, so you can choose your preference. The recipe still applies. Pat the lamb dry and then use a knife to make several slits all along. Then it's as easy as just slathering that marinade all over the lamb shoulder. Make sure you get the bottom and the top, and then place it in a tray and cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge. In this recipe, we use time to our advantage twice, and the first time is by letting the marinade do all of the work in the fridge, and the second time is by that long, slow braise in the oven. The next day, take the lamb out of the fridge about an hour before you plan to bake it and preheat the oven to 350 Fahrenheit. Then start preparing the tray that you're going to use to slowly roast the lamb. Now you can use a large Dutch oven with a lid. That's the preferable vessel, is if you've got something that has a tight fitting lid. But because I'm using a whole lamb shoulder, I don't have one that's big enough, and so it's perfectly fine to use an oven dish. I suggest one that's at least 2 inches deep, and then what we'll do is cover it very, very tightly with parchment and foil. On the bottom of the tray, add some halved onions and celery for some aromatics, and then I add some whole spices which are going to flavor the drippings from the lamb, which is really important because we're going to use the drippings to cook the rice. So add some bay leaves, whole black peppercorns, cinnamon sticks, and green cardamom pods. Place the lamb leg over the aromatics and the whole spices, and then add 2 cups of water to the bottom of the tray. Now, I usually add the water into the tray that the lamb was marinating in. That way I can get every single drop of that marinade, and then I pour it into the baking dish. How you wrap the lamb is really important. Don't rush this part. So I start with a layer of parchment paper because I don't want the aluminum foil to be touching the lamb, and that parchment paper just helps trap the steam in as well and help the lamb retain moisture. Then I add 2 layers of foil at least, sometimes a little bit more depending on how big my roll of foil is. So just make sure you've got 2 layers covering the whole surface of the oven dish and that you've creased the edges very tightly to get a super tight seal. Pop it into the oven, and it's gonna need at least 4 hours. You might need a little bit less if you have a smaller lamb shoulder. Mine was 3 kilos and I needed 4 hours. So it could be 3 or all the way up to 5 hours. We're gonna check on it halfway through though, so stay tuned for that. But for now, you're done and you can kind of take a breather. After a few hours of roasting is when I start to work on the sides and the garnishes. And the first thing I do is work on the caramelized onions, which are such a core part of Lamb Mandi and so delicious. If you have a mandolin, I recommend you slice the onions using a mandolin. That way you get an even size on all of the pieces and they will cook more evenly. But if you don't have one, that's okay. You can just use a sharp knife and thinly slice your onions. This is also when I blew my saffron, so grind your saffron strands if you're using them, and then add some hot water to the ground saffron and let it sit for a few minutes. That's what's gonna give you that beautiful color that we'll later use for the rice. You don't have to use saffron if you don't have it. I know it's expensive. You can serve this with white rice, or you can use a little bit of turmeric in the rice cooking liquid to make yellow rice. We'll also need to garnish the rice with some slivered toasted almonds and raisins, so I'm gonna prepare those as well. Now, moving over to the stove, the first thing I like to do is get the onions going, and preferably use a very large pan. That's just gonna speed up the process because you have more surface area to caramelize the onions. So I add some olive oil and just spread out the onions in one single layer and kind of let them do their thing. And I only stir them every about 4 to 5 minutes to kind of flip them over on another side and again let them caramelize. While the onions are going, you can also grab another pan and start frying the slivered almonds. Now the almonds do need constant stirring, otherwise they'll burn. So they only take about a few minutes though. So just quickly stir them until they're nicely evenly golden. And then just towards the end, I add the raisins. The raisins just need a few seconds, otherwise they burn. They just need to kind of warm through. And then once that's done, you can spoon them up into a bowl. Check on your onions, and once those are ready, then you can also spoon them up into a bowl and set those garnishes aside. Now we'll work on the Yemeni sahawak, which is always served with lamb mandi. It goes perfectly. It's sort of like a chutney, very herby, fresh, and it cuts through the richness of the lamb perfectly. My specific recipe uses parsley, cilantro, fresh mint leaves, just a little bit, adds a lot of freshness, and then a jalapeno. Now you can make it as spicy or as mild as you like by just adding more jalapenos or other chili peppers. And then I also add a garlic clove, some lemon juice, and some salt, and everything gets blitzed up in a food processor, so it's actually quite easy to whip up. About 3 hours into the roasting of the lamb, I take out the tray to check on it and to scoop up those lamb juices at the bottom of the tray so I can use them to cook the rice while the lamb finishes roasting. That way the rice can be cooked and finished at the same time. So use a deep spoon or a ladle and get as much of those juices as you can. Now, one very important thing is to replenish the juices with some water because you don't want to leave the lamb with a dry tray. Otherwise, the drippings are going to get burned. So once you scoop up the juices, add another cup or two of water into the tray. Then seal the lamb back up really well and pop it back into the oven for that last hour of roasting, and we are going to get started on cooking the rice. You'll notice that the lamb drippings that you got are very fatty, so there's going to be a thick layer of fat at the very top. Make sure you scoop out as much of the fat as you can and discard it. Otherwise, the rice is going to be too greasy. You can do this by simply taking a spoon and skimming the surface. That's where the fat is. Or you can use one of those contraptions that are called a fat separator, but I don't have one of those. In a large rice pot, add some olive oil and saute the whole spices. We're using green cardamom pods, cinnamon sticks, and whole cloves. Then add your very well washed and drained basmati rice. I'm using 4 cups of rice, and so for each cup of rice, you need 2 cups of liquid. I ended up collecting about 2 cups of lamb juices from the bottom of the tray, so I'm topping it up with water, so I have 8 cups total of liquid. Now, if you're using less rice, feel free to make less. Just use a 1-to-2 ratio of rice to water. Put the rice on high heat and wait for it to come to a rolling boil, and then once it's there, cover it with a tight-fitting lid and reduce the heat to low, and you're going to leave it to cook for 25 minutes undisturbed. Once it's ready, you can open it up and drizzle in that bloomed saffron water and then start fluffing it with a fork, and that's what's going to give you those beautiful grains of white and yellow rice mixed together. Finally, you're ready to plate and you're ready to finish off that lamb. So I take it out of the oven and then I use the juices at the bottom of the tray to baste the lamb, or use a pastry brush and just brush some of the juices over the top of the lamb and then broil it for a few minutes. That's what's going to give you that beautiful golden crust on the lamb. Okay, we're finally there. It's time to plate, and there is an art to this. Start with a really big serving tray, get the biggest tray you can find, and then spoon a layer of that beautiful rice on the bottom of the tray. Then start garnishing the rice with the slivered almonds, the raisins, and the caramelized onions. And then finally, very gently, I use 2 large spoons to grab the lamb shoulder and place it carefully in the middle of the tray. Make sure your bowls of sahawak are ready to go as well, and then you're ready to call everyone over and serve while it's piping hot. Make sure you save this video the next time you want to cook up a meal that's going to impress a crowd and that's going to score you so many compliments. Check out the description box for the full printable recipe, and I'll see you in my next video.